Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studio in Forsyth County, Georgia, welcome to the Retirement Planning and Wealth Management Podcast, brought to you by Webb Wealth Advisors. Visit webbwealthadvisors.com for their full scope of services.
And hello and welcome to the debut episode of Retirement Planning and the Wealth Management Podcast. I am your host today, Amanda Pirch, joined in studio by the founder and president of Webb Wealth Advisors, Mr. Paul Webb himself. So we are broadcasting live out of the Business RadioX studio here in Cumming, Georgia, and we actually have the great fortune of being neighbors. I can see your firm from the window right here. Paul Webb's agency is located here in Cumming, Georgia, right off of Triple Gap Road. And they offer an array of services, but again, I'll let Paul dive into that as he is the expert. I would like to set the stage for the gentleman behind the scenes. So again, Paul and I actually met in Rotary Club. He is an active Rotarian here in Forsyth, a great participant within the community. Among that, he is a veteran. Paul, I want to thank you for your service. He is a community advocate, and he also is a father, a husband, and a grandfather as well. He grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and he is a member of Mountain Lake Church here in Cumming. He does a lot of volunteering as well, and he leads a prayer team. He is, like I said, a Rotarian, and he is also a volunteer basketball and soccer coach. I would be doing a disservice if I did not recognize your better half, Lisa. She is not here in studio with us today, but she is also a powerhouse behind your firm. Again, I just wanted to kind of set the stage for Paul's series. This is going to be a series where we are educating people about retirement planning and also wealth management. Paul is a fiduciary, and his firm specializes in risk management, also 401 rollovers, 401k rollovers, IRAs, and a variety of other things. If you'd like to learn more about his services, please visit webbwealthadvisors.com, and that is Webb with two B's, W-E-B-B. And Paul, I'm going to let you take it from here and kind of share a little bit about what you guys do well.
Thanks for your time again today. We offer some unique programs. We have tax-free guaranteed retirement income. We work through a IRS tax code of 7702, and we're able to create buckets whereby you can invest as much money as you want in an account and be able to do that tax-free while you're accumulating the money, and then tax-free when you take the withdrawal. So it's a great program, and we offer a variety of these types of programs.
Can I ask you a question really quickly?
Sure.
Because you mentioned a few things, and I'd like you to expand on them if you will.
Absolutely.
So give me an example of what risk tolerance is.
Yes.
I have no idea.
Okay, so let's say you're in your 20s, for example. A lot of people want to play the stock market game, which it can be great. It grows, and the truth is the stock market returns on average about 8% a year. Well, that's great, but number one, it's not tax-free. Number two, you have the risk of the market. The market's up and down. We had a huge crash, as everyone knows, in 2007, 2008, yeah. And a lot of people lost almost half of their entire 401k because it's market risk. So risk tolerance would be basically the question, how much money am I willing to lose of my bucket of money? And most people would say, I don't want to lose any. However, with risk, there's reward. So you have to look at that side of it. But we specialize in products and strategizing in the areas of protecting your income. So we would offer IRA recommendations that would allow you to grow your money but never be able to lose any of it. You can't lose your accumulation. You wouldn't lose your accumulation or your principal.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's really important. So it's just a question of how much money am I willing to lose, and if none of that, and if you're not willing to lose any, then I'm definitely your person to work with, because I'll ensure that your money does nothing but grow. It's protected. You'll never lose your principal or your accumulation. And we'll make it so that when you retire, everything you take out is tax-free.
Nice.
Yes.
Talk about some of the clients that you work with. So me, myself, you mentioned early 20s, obviously. Sure. That was decades ago for me. However, it's never too early to start thinking about these things. So share with us a little bit about the dynamic of people that you're able to help within your organization.
Yes. So I work with folks anywhere from their 20s to their 80s. And a broad array of them, folks starting in their 20s. We set up IRA funds. We set up, as I said, the IRS Code 7702 type of funds, where they can accumulate and put as much money into that fund as they want and be able to do that tax-free while it's accumulating, and then tax-free when they take their distribution. So that's a long-term plan. We'd set someone up on something that's 20 or 30 years. Doesn't have to be that long, but it obviously the longer you leave it in there, the more that it accumulates. So that's what we would do for someone that's more youthful and getting started. But as Amanda, as you say, it's never too early to start planning. And it's amazing with compounded interest in these IRA accounts, the amount of money that can be accumulated if you're making a monthly contribution to it. So we set up a savings plan that accumulates, in many cases, double-digit interest compounded over several years. You know, many of these folks will have millions, $1 million or more dollars when they're looking to retire. And that can just be one bucket. That doesn't include your Social Security, what you'll get, and then whatever you had from your employer in the 401k.
That's very exciting. I've had a chance to look at your website, and there's so much great information on it. One thing that kind of stands out to me, Paul, is the way that you do business with your clients. And I think that the personalized level of service that you provide kind of sets you apart from anybody else in your space. Some of the testimonials on your website are fantastic and very profound, but it looks like that you're not only able to find solutions to people's needs in the world of wealth management and retirement planning, but you're also able to connect with them on an individual basis. So share with us a little bit about your passion and the reason that you enjoy doing what you do with Webb Wealth Advisors.
Yes. Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate it. Number one, I love the Lord. So because I love the Lord, I have all that love in my heart to give to others. And I love people, and I love helping people, and I love protecting people from financial disaster, for example, for making the wrong choices, not protecting their property and their assets and their income the way that they should. So it kind of all starts with the Lord for me, and it kind of goes from there. And I just, again, I love people. I'm interested in them. I love asking questions and learning new things about people, and oftentimes finding out that I have a lot in common with them, and that helps a whole lot.
That is very clear here on your mission statement, and that's one thing that you and I share. We're both servant leaders and share a love for the Lord as well. So on your mission statement, it says that your practice is based on Christian principles. First, that thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy soul and all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment, and the second is like unto it. What's the second one? Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. You and I met, like I said, through Rotary, but we kind of connected on a different level. So share with the listeners where they might be able to connect with you outside of your office.
Sure. So I can connect with you anywhere. I'm happy to come to your place of business and meet with you, come to your home, meet at a coffee shop, take you for breakfast or lunch. Zoom meetings, a lot of Zoom meetings now for obvious reasons. And because time's constrained and other things. But we do a lot of Zoom calls that were straight out of our office, and we have a large screen that I can put illustrations up on and strategizing and talk to people that way. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I love to help people, is this word fiduciary. You hear it all the time, and I'm a fiduciary.
It's a big word.
At the end of the day, whether you're a registered investment advisor or you're selling someone a car, at the end of the day, fiduciary means one thing, very simple. Do what is best for your clients, not as what best for you. So, and that's real important, because I think it's just a moral obligation to your client. So you have a choice of placing them in a product, and one product pays you more, but that's not what's best for the client. So I try to always do what's best for the client, in the end, I feel I benefit from that.
And that you've provided a tailored service.
Yes, for what they needed,
meet the needs.
Not what I needed.
I would like to share, again, kind of setting this series up so that our listeners can get to know you before they decide to possibly do business with you. You have got a very robust background. You've done a variety of exciting things. I'd like for you to just touch on a couple of those things for our listeners, and I will kind of tee you up because I know you're a humble man, so you're not going to want to brag on yourself. But Paul, he was an athletic runner all throughout his life.
Yes.
Almost Olympian. Help me out here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So has a love for pounding the pavement, literally with his feet. I think it was a hip surgery that prevented you from continuing on with your racing track record, literally.
That's correct.
But in addition, we mentioned that you were a veteran too and a family man. So share with our listeners some things that you enjoy doing in your free time, some things that you and your family like to do, some places that you like to go, so we can find some more commonalities.
Yeah. As I said, I love people, so I love social outings and gatherings among friends and community events. I try to get involved. I'm blessed to coach basketball, volunteer coach, and I enjoy that, working with the kids and trying to develop them, working in the community through the as a Rotarian, involved in the church as far as working with members and helping them. Just a whole variety of things. My wife and I love boating. If it's a sunny day and over 70 degrees, we're blessed to be right on the lake. So we just jump in our boat and go. It's such a sense of freedom. I just love all the God-given elements of boating, the breeze, the water, the sun, the blue skies, the beautiful trees and islands all around Lake Lanier. It's just spectacular, and nothing's more fun to go out on a Sunday afternoon with family and friends and celebrate the good Lord and the sunshine
and His
and
creation.
All and all the creation. So it's wonderful. And I just wanted to circle back on the things that you mentioned early in my life. I was very blessed as a young man. I think it was a gym class in 7th grade where I met Coach Granger and Caro. He told me that I could be a world champion. I could go to the Olympics, and I was actually at 12 years old, naive enough to believe him.
Not naive, because you almost made it.
So I did. He said, do your best every day. Give it everything you got, and one day you'll get out of bed and set a world record. And that was nearly true. So, and then I was blessed from there based on all the teaching and help, discipline, and self-confidence that gave me. I was able to earn a full scholarship to the Virginia Military Institute, and we had a great coach there. And for a small military school with 1,100 people, we were state champions, we were Southern Conference champions, and I was very blessed to be MVP. And I still hold a school record 40 years later. I'm going to my 40th school reunion next month, and I cannot believe that the 10,000-meter long-distance running record has not been broken, nor has the cross-country record being broken. Must not be many good runners that came after me. But I say that to say all glory to God. He paved a path for me. He gave me skills, as He does everyone, and I was able to use them to the best of my ability. I was a commissioned officer in the Air Force, and I was going to run for the Air Force team, and I was very close to making the Olympic trials. And I had not only hip issues, but I had just a variety of injuries between knee and shin splints and fractured, just injuries. So no excuses. I just couldn't go as far as I wanted, but I tried. Every day.
You did, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would like to say that being an athlete, I don't know that I consider myself an athlete, but enjoying physical fitness, shall I say. You mentioned something that I think is paramount, and you mentioned the conditioning, the physical conditioning that you went throughout your training for track and for the Olympics, and how that fortitude translates not only physically but mentally, and how you're able to apply those practices and those disciplines throughout the rest of your life.
Yes.
So it's it's not only serving you health-wise physically, but it also served you mentally.
Yes, it did. I mean, the benefits of exercise, whether it's running or going to the gym like you do, Amanda, that's fantastic. I think it's so good for you mentally, emotionally, physically. And really spiritually, if you feel really good, it's easier to love the Lord more because you're more in the mood for it.
Absolutely. Well, Paul, you take great care of not only your firm and all of the people that you do business with, but you lead a very large family as well. You
Yes.
are a community advocate and you are a participant. What do you do for Paul? How does Paul kind of reset and recalibrate? Because if you're not sound of mind or body, spirit, all those things like you mentioned, then you can't provide that level of service and love and expertise to the rest of the world. So how do you kind of take care of yourself personally? And I'm just curious.
Yeah. So a few things. Number one, I start with reading my Bible in the morning. I read it, a few verses, and I get on my knees and pray and ask for strength and wisdom and all those good things that you ask the good Lord for. And so that's how I start my day, and that's a real blessing. And then from there, to manage stress and to focus and everything, I try to work out as frequently as possible, whether it's walking or chasing the kids around at the basketball court. I want to get back into tennis. I've been away from that. I did recently have a hip replacement, which has given me a whole outlook on life. So
now you're the bionic man.
I'm really blessed. Because you get to a point after many years of pain, and it had to do with, praise the Lord, I've run 70,000 miles in my life. And
wow.
It's a lot of wear and tear on the body and, on my hips and my body is just a lot of arthritis all over.
Did you track those miles? Like you kept track?
Yeah. Every week you had a certain amount. You run 100 miles a week, and you figure if you do 100 miles a week for, 52 weeks out of the year, it just adds up. And I did that for 14 or 15 years. So when you take the aggregate of all that, it's easily 70,000 miles, if not more. But long and the short of it, as I thought I was done as far as being able to do anything physical, and I got a hip replacement over here at Northside Hospital. They are angels in their own right. And with my hip replaced, I can go run, I can play tennis, I can play basketball. I feel like a renewed human. So
good
praise the Lord for all that.
Yes, and you get around just fine.
Yes.
I wanted to say for our listeners who might visit your actual physical office,
yes,
I very much enjoy going and having coffee with you in your
Thank
boardroom. There is a very stoic picture of you, Paul, hanging in that boardroom. You're laughing again. He's a very humble man, listeners. But it is a very nice photo of you in your dress blues. Is that what they're called?
Yes, at VMI.
From your military days.
Yes.
And I highly encourage those of you who are going to meet him in his office to take a look at that photo because it's very nice. You quit laughing.
Well,
You
I'm
said
laughing because I was so
plus.
many pounds smaller and, I actually had decent hair back then and all that.
It's a very nice photo. I'm
Thank
surprised Lisa doesn't have it hanging in your house.
Well, we did. She got tired of looking at it clearly and kicked it out to the office.
Because she looks at you every day.
So that's right. Yeah, she had enough of me clearly. But no, so I was very blessed. I actually at VMI, they did this portrait of you in your uniform, and I gave it to my dad as a graduation present because he was such a great man. Yeah. I lost my mother when I was 5 years old.
Wow.
She died from lupus, as did my sister, died from lupus at 32 years old. So it was kind of my dad and I. It was almost like the courtship of Eddie's father, Wow. It was like we were best friends. We did everything together. Let me tell you about my best friend.
Yeah.
As my dad, he was just such a great man. And we played tennis together and went to church together. It was just him and me. So we were very blessed.
You know what, Paul? And you might not have put these two together, but I wonder out of curiosity, because you mentioned, and I'm so sorry for your loss at an early age with your mother and also of your sister. But I think that you were given an example at a very early age of the importance of planning.
Yes.
Even unbeknownst to you, before you even knew what you were going to do, and owning your firm in the long run later in life. Do you think that maybe inadvertently through those two experiences that kind of inspired you to really that's something that's important?
Sure.
Because you experienced it firsthand.
Yeah. When my mother died, thank God that she had life insurance. And that helped my dad be able to help me go to college and everything. And you just never know when your loved one's going to die. So I'm not trying to sell life insurance,
Yeah,
but take care of your family.
Absolutely.
I mean, make sure they're protected. Protect your income. Use at least 5%. If you make $100,000 a year, take 5% of that and put it towards protecting the other $95,000 or 95% of that income, so that your family's protected. If they lose you, they're going to be devastated enough that they lost their loved one. But then when they got to sell the house, move out, the kids don't have a future for education, and it becomes very, very sad.
Troublesome,
and I've seen these cases. I mean, it's nothing like handing a widow a check for $500,000.
Man,
it's something else. So.
Something else. I can see that
Anyhow,
you're very passionate about what you do.
Well, I mean, God, how her life is so different. I lost my husband, but my financial future is not a disaster.
Absolutely. Paul, your passion is evident not only for what you do as a human, but about how you take personal charge with your clients as well. Again, I want to share, I am speaking with Paul Webb. He is the founder and president of Webb Wealth Advisors. And we are today speaking about something that is very important to all of us on the podcast, that is geared towards retirement planning and wealth management. If anybody out there would like to learn more about Paul Webb and his agency, visit wealthadvisors.com, and you can even reach out to Paul directly. He has given me authority to share his cell phone number on the airwaves, and that is 678-410-7902. So if you have any questions about anything that we spoke about, or if you'd like to learn more, or if you'd like to see Paul's smiling face in person, you can catch him at Rotary Club on Tuesday mornings at 7:30. Who picked that time, Paul?
I don't know. It's early.
I get up at 4:30 to be at that meeting. I mean, I love it. I'm an early bird, but man, 4:30. That's rough. But some people get up at 4:00 every day. So, nonetheless, I have enjoyed, sharing your story with our listeners. And I know there's so many more important things that we're going to be bringing throughout this series. This is a monthly podcast. And for all of you out there, you can listen to us live on businessradiox.com, and you can select the Forsyth Studio. These shows are also available wherever you enjoy your audio shows. I listen on iTunes. Do you listen on iTunes?
I do.
People? Yeah.
I do.
The iPhone just has that little podcast app loaded right there for you. But you can also find all of our shows on Spotify, Spreaker, YouTube, wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts. Again, if you'd like to reach out to Paul directly, that cell phone number is 678-410-7902. And before we kind of bring the show to a close, Paul, I'd like to ask, is there anything that you want to leave our listeners with before we say adios?
Yes. Just that, have a plan. If you want to succeed, you need a plan and you need goals. So if you need help with that, I'd love to sit down with you and try to develop some goals for you and develop a plan so that you can have a meaningful life and a meaningful retirement and a meaningful financial future that's protected and safe and growing, and you're not checking the stock market every 5 minutes to determine how your day is going to go, if it's up or down.
Absolutely. Just, again, and I kind of have a squirrel brain, but what does that process look like? So for someone like myself that has no idea about your world, in order to initiate this relationship, first of all, it starts with a consultation.
Yes. So what we do is we, usually it's $800 charge, but we offer basically a free consultation to get you started. We sit you down, we develop your goals, we set up a plan, we evaluate what you have currently, and if it looks great, we're not going to change it. We're going to leave it right where it's at. But if we find areas of improvement in it, we'll do that for you, and we'll make suggestions on other ways to grow your wealth, protect your wealth, and become financially independent.
That sounds great. Financial independence. Well, I can't wait to learn more. And I know our listeners are excited about what this series is going to be bringing to them here in the future. Again, reach out to Paul Webb directly. Visit his website at webbwealthadvisors.com. And until next month, I have been your host, Amanda Pierce. However, Paul Webb is going to be at the helm of this ship. We are going to tag team this together. I hope you've enjoyed the message that we brought to you today. And we look forward to bringing you some more great information next month on Webb Wealth Management, Retirement Planning, and Webb Wealth Management podcast. We'll see you guys next time.